All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my co-main event UFC 302 fight prediction between Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa. So this fight will be the co-main event of UFC 302 of the fight on the same card that Islam Makhachev will be defending his lightweight championship against Dustin Poirier in the main event of UFC 302. So this will be my co-main event prediction between Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa. So these are my storylines heading into this middleweight fight. Can Paulo Costa finally win the big one? Paulo Costa had a huge win against Robert Whittaker at UFC 298 in the co-main event of UFC 298. The same card where Ilya Tupara defeated Alexander Volkanovski to win the featherweight title. If Paulo Costa wins and defeats Sean Strickland in the co-main event of UFC 302, if Paulo Costa defeats Sean Strickland, he could possibly be in line for the middleweight title fight in the near future. So can Paulo Costa finally piece it together, win the big one, and get himself in line for a middleweight championship fight? Now, next storyline. Can Sean Strickland get back to the top of the mountain, the top of the food chain in the middleweight division? Now, Sean Strickland went on, if you guys follow what Sean Strickland did to get his way to the top of the mountain in the middleweight division. Sean Strickland was on a 2-fight winning streak before he found himself fighting Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. And he went on to, in my opinion, pull off one of, if not the biggest upsets in UFC history when he dismantled and dominated Israel Adesanya for a total of 5 championship rounds. The fight wasn't even close. It was all Sean Strickland's round from round 1 all the way to round 5, as I was thinking about boxing. But now you have Sean Strickland. You fast forward that, and Sean Strickland's first title defense, he lost the middleweight championship against Dricus du Plessis in January this calendar year. So now Sean Strickland's in position to pick up a big win against Paulo Costa and find himself getting a rematch against Dricus du Plessis. Can Sean Strickland climb up the mountain once again in the middleweight division? This is my tail of the tape for the fight. You have Sean Strickland, who has 28 wins, 6 losses to his resume. He has 11 knockout victories, 4 submission victories, former middleweight champion in the UFC, currently stands at 6'1", and has a reach advantage of 76 inches. Then you look at Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa has 14 wins, 3 losses to his resume. He has 11 knockout victories, 1 submission victory, currently stands at 6'1", and has a reach advantage of 72 inches. So both fighters actually stand at 6'1", but the reach advantage goes to Sean Strickland compared to 76 inches compared to Paulo Costa's 71 inches. Now I think about that, no Diddy. As I digress, these are the following game plans that I have for each respective middleweight if they want to be successful in the co-main event of UFC 302. So starting off with Paulo Costa. I feel like Paulo Costa is going to have to dig down deep into that cardiovascular endurance gas tank. He's going to have to dig down deep in that if he wants to defeat Sean Strickland, because the gas tank must last 5 rounds. This co-main event is scheduled for 5 rounds. And Paulo Costa has only been a part of 1 5-round fight in his UFC career thus far. So we really have only seen Paulo Costa in 1 5-round fight. We really haven't seen him go the distance in the deep waters. I feel like he's going to need the cardiovascular endurance to defeat Sean Strickland in this fight. Next game plan, I feel like Paulo Costa is going to have to make Sean Strickland respect his power. Paulo Costa is known for his power and his striking ability. You don't get 11 knockout victories by mistake in the MMA inside the octagon. So I feel like his best game plan is going to have to win the striking battle and make Sean Strickland respect his power, however long this fight goes on, in the co-main event at UFC 302. Now, this is my game plan for Sean Strickland to follow. I feel like Sean Strickland's going to have to take Paulo Costa into the deep waters and drown him. Like I just touched up on. I just said for Paulo Costa, he's going to have to go into the deep waters and dig down deep into that cardiovascular endurance. Something he's not used to going 5 rounds deep in fights. But Sean Strickland, on the other hand, has probably, when you think about it, Sean Strickland probably has the best cardiovascular endurance, the best gas tank in the entire middleweight division. So I feel like he's going to have to get, the longer the fight goes on, the more it's going to favor Sean Strickland in this fight. So I feel like he's going to have to take Paulo Costa into the deep waters and drown him. Now, next game plan. Walk down. I feel like Sean Strickland's going to have to walk down Paulo Costa. Now, he found out, if you guys go back and look at that fight, when Sean Strickland defeated Israel Adesanya, he walked down Israel Adesanya for majority of the fight and pulled off the biggest win of his career against Israel Adesanya, walking him down and using that boxing background and just out striking Israel Adesanya. So I feel like that's what Sean Strickland is definitely going to have to do in this game plan against Paulo Costa if he wants to walk out of UFC 302 with a victory. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Sean Strickland to win this fight by decision. I do believe that this fight has the potential to go all 5 rounds in the co-main event of UFC 302. But I just feel like as the later rounds go on, as the later this fight goes on, the more it favors Sean Strickland over Paulo Costa. And Paulo Costa has been a part of one 5-round fight in his UFC career. That's not a good sign. That's not a good look because we don't know how deep he can go into a fight. And Sean Strickland has one of the best cardiovascular endurance gas tanks in the entire middleweight division. So I just trust Sean Strickland more in this fight. I trust his experience. I trust his striking ability. I trust his boxing background to defeat Paulo Costa and get back on track in the middleweight division. Now, if Sean Strickland is victorious against Paulo Costa in the co-main event of UFC 302, that could lead to Sean Strickland earning a middleweight championship rematch against Dricus du Plessis by the end of the calendar year or 2024. So be on the lookout for that if Sean Strickland is successful against Paulo Costa this weekend at UFC 302. But that is my fight prediction for this weekend's fight between Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa.